Hello and welcome to this week's Women's Football Chat, focusing on the third and fourth tiers of women's football here in England. That's the Northern and Southern Premier Divisions and Division 1 North, Midlands, South East and South West. The FA Women's National League. My name is Chris Gansby. I'm here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. bringing you all the very latest, all the results, the fixtures coming up, some of the news as well, and a look at the tables, these crucial tables as we get down to the real business end of the season. Let's this week then get straight down to it. We're going to start, as we usually do, with the Northern results. So on Wednesday, Brighouse Town 3, Burnley 1, Derby County 1, Brighouse Town 3 on Sunday, Hull City 4, Sheffield 0, Middlesbrough 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 4, and West Bromwich Albion 2, AFC Fylde 2. Let's start then with that Brighouse Town Burnley game. Goals for Brighouse coming to Isabel Dean, Cara Fields and Lucy Sowerby. The lone goal for Burnley coming to Olivia Wilson. And then Brighouse Town had the perfect week, really, a 6-point week after they won by 3-1 away at Derby County. Goals to Brighouse in that one: Leah Jade Embley, Drew Green and Lucy Sowerby again. And then Amy Sims in the 34th minute, providing the only goal of the game for Derby. Then elsewhere on Sunday, Hull City got a 4-0 victory over Sheffield. Goals in that one coming to Helen Linsky and Rachel Ackroyd. And then there's 2 goals on that haven't been put on the full-time website. The Hull City winning by 4-0. Same scoreline for Wolverhampton Wanderers away at Middlesbrough. An early goal, Amber Hughes in the 4th minute, followed up by Marie Gauntlet in the 10th minute and the 20th minute as well. Anna Morfitt getting a penalty in the game to make it 4-0 to Wolves. And then a 4-goal thriller evenly shared at West Brom. 2-2 between them and Fylde. No information on the Fylde scorers as of yet, but Leah Dugmore and Shannon Stamps getting the 2 goals for West Bromwich Albion. What that means for the table then is that Wolverhampton Wanderers are 6 points clear and with 2 games in hand. That's after Derby County lost this weekend to Brighouse Town, who climb a place in the middle of the table as well. They're 6 points clear of Derby now. They're 7 points clear of Fylde. And it's Huddersfield Town who are the only sides that have got, well, the only side that have got a game in hand over Wolves, who are kind of even relatively still in the race. Brighouse Town, I feel, just a bit too far back. They could get up to 51. Brighouse Town could get up to 51. Huddersfield could get up to 53. But that would still leave them, even with winning that game in hand, 10 points behind Wolves. Now, if we look at the run-in for the rest of the season, you'll see Derby have only got 4 games left, and they're 2 games behind Wolves. And they are kind of close to being Wolves' challengers there. AFC Fylde only a point behind Derby, though. You look at Wolves' running, knowing that they need kind of 3, maybe 4 wins. They've got 2 games to play against Sheffield. They've got a game to play against Loughborough Lightning. So if there's 6 games remaining, 3 of them are against teams in the bottom 3. They've got 2 games against Brighouse Town, who could pull off a couple of upsets. They beat Derby, of course, this weekend. And then a game against Huddersfield, which is going to be crucial. But you look at the points that Wolves need in order to secure that title. I mean, if you look at Fylde, as I said, they could get to 56 maximum, which would leave Wolves needing another 12 to get the title. And you look at those 3 games, that should be 9 out of the 12. So it's looking as though it is very much Wolves' to lose. Derby, of course, they can only get now to 51. So Wolves only need 2 wins from their last 6 games to make sure that Derby can't get the title. Forest, they can only get to 51 as well. So again, Wolves only need 2 wins from the last 6 in order to stop Forest from being able to get towards the title. So, and they only need 3 wins from the last 6 because 21 points, that's 53 is as far as Huddersfield can get. And they would only need 3 wins from the last 6 to take Huddersfield out of it. And again, 2 games against Sheffield and 1 against Loughborough Lightning. You'd like to think that Wolves will take the maximum points from those games. That will give them the 9 points they need to make it just a 2-horse race between themselves and Fylde, with obviously having that 7-point advantage over Fylde. So might still take a few weeks, but I do think it is Wolves' to lose. If we go down to the bottom, Hull City at the bottom of the table. They've got 6 points now, though, after that win over Sheffield. You look at their running, they've got to play Fylde, they've got to play Derby, they've got to play Huddersfield twice. So that's tough at the top there. They do have a game against Stoke to play as well. They've got a game against Burnley, who are mid-table. But starting 10 points back might prove to be difficult for Hull, if they've got 6 games to go. Sheffield have got 8 to go, so they've still got plenty there, but they do have, as I've said, those 2 games against Wolves that they've got to play. They've also got to play Fylde and they've got to play Derby. So you're looking at those 2 sides. They're a long way back. It looks as though they may well go down. And then it's the race for that final spot to avoid being the ones in that final spot. Loughborough Lightning, 7 games to go. They've got Middlesbrough and Stoke. This could be a crucial couple of weeks towards the bottom there. Then they've got Burnley at home, Forest at home, Huddersfield away, and they finish Fylde and Wolves. So you look at their running as well. You think their final 4 games, they've got to play 4 out of the top 5 in their final 4 games. So it's going to be tough for Loughborough Lightning. Middlesbrough, they've only got 5 games to go. They've got Loughborough and then Forest at home. And then they've got West Brom, Sheffield and Burnley away. So for as far as Middlesbrough are concerned, it's Forest who are the highest placed side they've got left to face. But they are taking on teams in and around them to finish the season off. Stoke, it's relatively similar. They've got Burnley, who are currently just a couple of places above them. Loughborough as well, as I've mentioned. They've got to take on Fylde, but then they've got Hull and West Brom. So it is going to be all around the bottom. They've all got to play each other, those teams in and around that final spot for relegation out of Tier 3 in the north. Let's have a look then at the south. Cardiff City 0, Southampton 4. Chichester and Chelsea 1, Gillingham 1, Crawley Wasps 1, Bridgewater United 2, Keynsham Town 6, Hounslow 2, and Plymouth Argyle 5, Milton Keynes Dons 1. Let's have a look at then Cardiff against Southampton. It was a hat-trick for Lucia Kendall, 38th, 49th and 72nd minute. Ella Poussey in the 88th minute made it 4-0 to Southampton. Chichester and Chelsea 1, Gillingham 1, goal to Chichester and Chelsea to Sophie Phelps, 67th minute. No information about Gillingham. Crawley Wasps against Bridgewater United. Imogen Lancaster in the 34th minute getting the goal for Crawley Wasps. And there's no information about Bridgewater United. Keynsham Town 6, Hounslow 2. Now, this is a 4-goal game for Laura Williams, 15th, 34th, 53rd and 71st minute. Kerry Bartlett in the 42nd minute. Henna Butcher in the 84th minute. A convincing victory for Keynsham Town. Hounslow in the 10th minute actually took the lead in this game. Kayla Potter getting the goal for that one. That's only one of their goals that's been put on the system, though. They lose by 6 goals to 2. Plymouth Argyle 5, then, just to finish off the results in the Southern Premier Division. Plymouth Argyle 5, Milton Keynes Dons 1. Milton Keynes Dons goal coming to Nicole Pepper. Goals to Plymouth Argyle, 2 for Natasha Knapman, 8th minute, 61st minute. Zoe Cunningham, 39th and 76th minute. And there was an opposition own goal in that in the 16th minute. From Plymouth from Milton Keynes to give Plymouth their goal and make it 5-1. Have a look at the table then, and it is becoming a 2-horse race now. It's becoming a 3-horse race because Southampton are pulling themselves back into it when they're playing their games in hand. They are now 10 points behind Ipswich, but they have 4 games in hand. They could get 2 points ahead. So Ipswich and Oxford, they still going toe-to-toe. They've got 6 games left to play each. We'll have a look at the title race in a moment. Down towards the bottom, Plymouth Argyle jump above Cardiff City after Cardiff lost and Plymouth won. Cardiff now just a point above the drop zone. They do have a game in hand over Milton Keynes Dons, but it is very close. Those deducted 2 points might really hurt Cardiff. If we look right at the bottom, Hounslow, they have 8 games to play, but they are 7 wins back from safety now. And you feel like because of the goal difference, it's 8 wins back. You feel that after their game this weekend at home to Cardiff City, of course, the team they need to catch, if they are to lose that game, they will be down from the Southern Premier Division. Chichester and Chelsea, they find themselves 7 points away from safety. And they've got Ipswich to play. They've got 2 games against Hounslow, which, in no disrespect to Hounslow, they are likely to win, as Hounslow haven't got a point yet this season. So you could say there's 6 points in there, and that will take them up to 20. They've got Crawley, who are kind of mid-table. MK Dons, that's going to be a crucial fixture this weekend. Portsmouth, again, kind of mid-table. Portsmouth, I think, just too far away from the drop zone to get dragged into it. A game against Ipswich, which is going to be tough, and they finish with a home game against Crawley. Keynsham Town, they have 5 games to go. They've got Portsmouth, which is a game that they could take points from. They've got Oxford away, which is going to be tough. Gillingham away, which is going to be tough. Southampton at home, which is going to be difficult for them as well. And Milton Keynes Dons at home on the last day. That game could be crucial. But it looks like it's a tough run-in for Keynsham Town in comparison to Chichester and Chelsea. MK Dons, they've only got 4 to play. They've got Chichester and Chelsea this weekend. They've then got Portsmouth twice and Keynsham Town. So you would think that out of the ones already in the drop zone, Milton Keynes Dons have on paper the easier run-in. And I say that with a pinch of salt. Cardiff City only have 1 home game left this season. They've got to play Hounslow. You think they would win that game. Bridgewater United away is going to be tough. Crawley Wasps at home is going to be quite a close one, but could easily go Crawley's way. Gillingham away is going to be tough, and Southampton away on final day is going to be very difficult for Cardiff. So don't be surprised if Cardiff find themselves dragged even closer into that bottom 4. It could well be that goal difference decides who stays up. At the top, Ipswich and Oxford, they have 6 games left to play each. Ipswich, 5 of them at home, but they do have to play Southampton and Oxford still this season. Oxford United, they are away all but 1. They play at home on the 3rd of April. No game for them this weekend. They play at home on the 3rd, then they're away the rest of the season, including trips to Ipswich, Southampton, Gillingham and Bridgewater United. So Oxford United have got to travel to the other 4 teams in the top 5. So it's going to be a very tough run-in for Oxford United. Southampton have still got 8 games to go, of course, but a lot of those are at home. They've got 5 of those games at home. They've also got fixtures against Hounslow, where they could pick up 3 points quite easily. Keynsham Town they've got to play as well, who are towards the bottom there. So they do have tough fixtures. Obviously, they've got to play Ipswich away as well. They've got to play Oxford at home. But just have to wait and see. It's going to be a while until all of Southampton's games in hand are played, because they have got so many. But just expect to see them creeping up in the Southern Premier Division. Let's go through then. Division 1 North. On Wednesday, Newcastle United beating Chester Street Town by 3-0. Alnwick Town 0, Barnsley 4. Chester Street Town 0, Chorley 3. Durham Cestra 7, FC United Manchester 1. Leeds United 0, Newcastle United 2. Norton Stockton Ancients 1. Stockport County 1. Let's have a look then at that game from Wednesday. Newcastle against Chester Street Town. Lauren Robson, Olivia Watt and Erin Nelson getting the 3 goals for Newcastle. Then we go through into the weekend. Barnsley winning 4-0 away at Alnwick Town. 39th minute, Jodie McAlshire opening the scoring for Barnsley. Then Emily Brett in the 50th minute, Courtney Cosmore in the 53rd minute, and Rebecca Coe in the 83rd minute, rounding off the 4-goal victory for Barnsley. Chorley, an away win to Chester Street Town. A brace for Jessica Gillen, backing up the goal earlier on from Emma Hickson, giving them the 3-0 victory. Durham Cester, a convincing victory over FC United of Manchester. Ellen Turnbull with a hat-trick, 29th, 59th, 72nd minute. Amy Hargrave, 38th minute, as well as goals from 3 substitutes. Erin Nicholson, 70th minute, 2 minutes after coming on. Nikki Rose Gears in the 75th minute and Anna Vince in the 84th minute made were the 7 goals for Durham Sestra. Kirsty Chambers, the only goal of the game for FC United of Manchester, 5 minutes after half-time. Leeds United 0, Newcastle United 2. Erin Nelson getting a goal for Newcastle, and that's the only goal that's been put on the system. And Norton Stockton Ancients 1, Stockport County 1. Bianca Owens, 26th minute, getting a goal for Norton and Stockton Ancients. Stockport County's lineup not announced. Let's have a look then at the table, where Newcastle United, after winning both games that they had this week, go back above Liverpool Feds. Liverpool Feds, though, 4 points behind now, but 2 games in hand, and it is really a 2-horse race. Leeds United, they've got 7 games remaining. They could get to 48 points. So you were relying on Newcastle and Liverpool just not scoring points for the rest of the season, which isn't going to happen. It's clearly a 2-horse race between those two. So let's have a look at the run-in for them. Newcastle United, as I said, have 5 games to go. What's going to be crucial is the game next weekend. Not this weekend, but next one, where they host Liverpool Feds. They've also got to play Bradford, who are 4 points away from safety. Chorley, who are kind of mid-table, not really anything to play for. Alnwick Town at the bottom, who you think would be relegated by that point, but they could surprise us. And then Barnsley, who are fighting to stay in the division. So kind of a mix of both for Newcastle there. Liverpool Feds, they've got Barnsley away, which is, again, the same as Newcastle. They've got to play Newcastle. They've got Bradford. They've got Norton Stockton Ancients, Chorley, Leeds United, FC United of Manchester. So it's that Leeds game, that's that penultimate game of the season against Leeds for Liverpool Feds that could prove to be a bit of a sticking point for them. But other than that, the run-ins are relatively similar. They're playing a lot of the same teams. So Liverpool Feds could do with winning those games in hand, getting themselves back top by a couple of points, and then it's theirs to lose. Down towards the bottom, Alnwick Town, they still have 8 games to play. So they're certainly not out of it at the moment. 16 points back, 24 to play for. They've got a back-to-back against Chorley, who are currently in the mid-table. They've then got to face Leeds, Newcastle. So that's a couple of tough ones for them. Barnsley is going to be an important one down at the bottom. Durham Cestra's not really got anything to play for. Chester Street Town, another important one down near the bottom. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Alnwick Town could find themselves out of the bottom 3. Chester Street Town only play at home now for the rest of the season. Durham Cestra, who are just mid-table. Barnsley is going to be an important game for them. Leeds is going to be tough, and Alnwick Town is going to be crucial. So you'd be looking, they've got to target at least 6 points from the games. The problem with that for Chester Street Town is that only brings them level on points with FC United of Manchester, but their goal difference would potentially be better. Barnsley, they have got a bit of a longer running because they've still got County Cup as well. They've got to play Sheffield in the County Cup. But as you see, they've got plenty of games in hand. They've got to play Liverpool Feds, which is going to be a difficult one. They've also got to play Newcastle, but they've got to play Alnwick and Chester Street Town. So important fixtures for them. They could lift themselves out of the bottom 3. FC United of Manchester, 4 games to go. Norton Stockton Ancients, mid-table, not a lot to play for. Chorley, mid-table, not a lot to play for. Leeds is going to be difficult. Liverpool Feds is going to be difficult. So it is possible that FC United Manchester will finish the season without scoring any more points. And that is what Chester Street Town have got to hold on to as they try and get out of the bottom 3. And then finally, we'll look at Bradford City as well. They've still got plenty of games to play because they are only 4 points above the relegation zone. And they do have plenty of games in hand. Again, they've got the likes of Alnwick Town as well, Barnsley, Newcastle and Liverpool Feds, they've got to play those. So, Bradford City, you would think are out of danger as it stands at the moment at least, because of their games in hand. They've got plenty of games in there that they can win, but they just need to be careful they don't get dragged into it. Right, Division 1 Midlands then, we'll crack on. Burton Albion 0, Solihull Moors 6, Leek Town 6, Biddeford United 1, Lincoln City 3, Long Eaton United 0, Peterborough United 1, Leaford Athletic 1, Wem Town 0, Boldmere St Michael's 2. So we'll start with Burton Albion then against Solihull Moors. A convincing victory for Solihull Moors against Burton Albion. 4 goals for Leah Siverite, 1 for Shan Jarvis and 1 for Jessica Lowe. Makes it 6-0 to Solihull. League Town 6, Biddeford United 1. Goals in that one. Biddeford United goal not registered. But Molly Garner in the 17th minute. Cassie Hyde, 34th minute. Chantal Gallagher, 76th minute. Paris O'Connor, 86th minute. Katie Meyer, 91st minute. And doesn't say about the 6th goal in that one. Lincoln City 3, Long Eaton United 0. That's Tony McHamilton, 22nd minute. Chantal Robertson, 35th minute. And Leah Hardy, 60th minute for Lincoln City. Peterborough United 1, Leaford Athletic 1. Peterborough United taking the lead in this one. 26th minute, Katie Lauder opening the scoring. Catherine Pagan 6 minutes after half-time, equalising for Leaford Athletic, and that's how it finished. Finally, Wem Town against Boldmere St Michael's. Lauren De Casto and Jessica Lundy getting the 2 goals for Boldmere St Michael's, which means they are now even further away at the top of the table. They are 9 points clear of Doncaster Rovers Bells with 2 games to go. No movement at all in the Division 1 Midlands from last week. But Doncaster Rovers Bells, 4 games to go. They can get to 53 points. But Boldmere St Michael's need 1 win from their final 2 games to pretty much secure it. They've got Lincoln City at home and Leafield Athletic away to finish the season off. That Lincoln City game is this weekend, and then the Leaford Athletic game isn't for another month until the end of April. So if they don't get the victory they need against Lincoln City, then they'll be waiting an awfully long time to play their final game. Doncaster Rovers Bells have got Peterborough United this weekend away from home. Then they've got Biddeford United, Long Eaton United, and Solihull Moors, and they need to win all 4 of those games to stand a chance realistically of getting the title in the Division 1 Midlands. Lincoln City, who have dropped off a bit, they can now only get to 50 points, and that is going to be tough. They have to play Boldmere St Michael's, as I've already mentioned, this weekend, so that's a must-win game for Lincoln City or they're out the title race. You'd say that they're kind of out of it anyway, but 12 points back with 4 games to go. Obviously, it's not a certainty yet. They've got Leaford Athletic, Burton Albion and Wem Town after that Boldmere St Michael's game. So they should, you would think, pick up 9 points from the other games and get themselves up to 47. It's if they can beat Boldmere St Michael's and get themselves to 50. Now, it's a 15 goal difference that they've got to overturn as well. That's not impossible when you rely on the victory over Boldmere St Michael's is essentially going to double whatever the victory margin is in the goal difference. Then you've got the rest of those games and you're relying on Boldmere St Michael's to lose again. So you're talking only winning by 2 or 3 goals per game, and that goal difference can swing. So Lincoln City will be holding on to that for all they've got. That it is very much Boldmere St Michael's as to lose now. They've got one hand on that trophy. They could win it this weekend. Down near the bottom, our first relegation of the year, Biddeford United are 12 points away from safety with only 9 left to play for. So they are relegated to Tier 5. Other teams then who are in and around the danger area, we've got Burton Albion, who we seem to have been mentioning quite a bit already. They have 2 games to play against Wem Town. That's going to be really important. They've got to play Lincoln City as well. Leafield Athletic, Leek Town and Sporting Cowser. So they've got 6 games to go, and 4 of them are against sides they are scrapping with to avoid the drop. So a very important month for Burton Albion. Wem Town, they've got, again, those 2 games against Burton Albion, a game against Bideford United. They've got Peterborough United and Lincoln City. So again, a lot of important fixtures for Wem Town. If you can imagine if either one of those teams, Wem Town or Burton Albion, pick up 6 points from those 2 games, that changes their season dramatically, potentially, as we head towards the end. Leafield Athletic are pretty much all at home. They've got a lot of games left to play. They've got 7 to play, only away to Lincoln City. Elsewhere, they're at home. Burton Albion, Sporting Cowser, Leek Town, teams in and around, and they've got to play Boldmere St Michael's as well. Boldmere St Michael's, that should just be, or could well just be, a victory parade for them by the time that fixture comes around. We'll look at Sporting Cowser as well. They're only 6 points clear of the drop. They are Burton Albion away. They've got Long Eaton United, Solihull Moors, Leafield Athletic, Leek Town and Peterborough United. So a very mixed bag for Sporting Cowser. You would think 6 points clear with 5 games to go, they may have enough, but we know how quickly things can change in football, particularly with midweek fixtures as well. Let's then have a look at Division 1 South East. AFC Wimbledon 0, #United 0, Enfield Town 2, Cambridge United 0, Harlow Town 1, Norwich City 3, and Kent Football United 1, Cambridge City 0. So AFC Wimbledon against #United, no goals in that one. Enfield Town, 2 late goals against Cambridge United. 76th minute, Alana Munro coming off the substitutes bench. Leah Litterchild in the 85th minute made it 2-0. Harlow Town haven't announced their lineup, but goals for Norwich City. Natasha Snelling, Catherine Stanley and Freya Simmons gave them the 3 points. And a lone goal for Latifat Adeja in the 26th minute to give Kent Football United 3 points that they desperately needed. Let's look at the table. You'll see Kent Football United, that victory against Cambridge City has saved them for another week from the drop. They are 12 points away from safety with 15 left on the table. Obviously, if they'd have lost this weekend, they'd be 15 away with 15 on the table and a vastly inferior goal difference. But let's look at the top first, because 6 games to go, and AFC Wimbledon can only now get to 58. Their 0-0 victory of #United has helped Billericay Town out no end. It's now in a 5-point gap between #United and Billericay Town, but Billericay Town have 2 games in hand, so they could go back to the top now thanks to that 0-0 draw for AFC Wimbledon. But Wimbledon, they now need to win all of their remaining 6 games just to get to 58 points and rely on #United not getting one more win from their 2 games. They've got Stevenage in the bottom, Enfield Town just away from the bottom. So you feel that's not going to happen. You feel AFC Wimbledon needed to win that game, and they are now out, realistically, of the title race, although not mathematically. Billericay Town have the 2 Cambridge sides who are in mid-table, Queen's Park Rangers and London Seaward left to play. So they've got 5th to 8th left to play. And if they win all their games, they will be promoted into Tier 3 because of the games in hand they've got over #United. So it's all heating up at the top. Towards the bottom then, Kent Football United, 12 points from safety, 5 games to go. Realistically, they've got to win them all. They've got a game against Harlow. That's going to be crucial. These are the last games, though. They finish against Enfield Town and Harlow. Queen's Park Rangers mid-table. Stevenage in the bottom for 4 as well. London Seaward mid-table. Neither of those sides have got anything to play for. But Enfield Town, Stevenage and Harlow Town, crucial fixtures for Kent Football United. You feel they've just left it a bit too late, though. But elsewhere, there's only 4 points for separating a lot of other teams. Harlow Town have got 2 against AFC Wimbledon. They're going to be tough. Then they play Kent Football United. You'd fancy AFC Wimbledon for both of those games. So Harlow Town might find it a bit difficult to pull themselves out of the bottom 4. Stevenage, they've got 4 games to go. #United, that'll be tough. Cambridge United, mid-table. Kent Football United, may well already be down by the time they play them, and Queen's Park Rangers mid-table as well. Norwich City, they are 3 points away from safety. They have got Cambridge City twice, AFC Wimbledon and Queen's Park Rangers. So Norwich City haven't got to play any of the other teams that are scrapping in and around them. They've got Cambridge City, who are 6 points clear at the moment with 4 games to go. So Cambridge City might just be looking over their shoulders and thinking that they've done enough. They will have done enough at the end of this weekend, potentially if they beat Norwich City. That could stretch it to a 9-point gap with 9 to play for, depending on what happens elsewhere. And of course, the big factor in Division 1 South East, if you look at those teams that are currently below the relegation line, their goal difference is so inferior that it's almost another point. So it's a 3-point gap from Norwich to Enfield Town, but with that goal difference, it's realistically 4, and it just makes it all the more harder for those teams in the drop zone at the moment. Let's have a look then at the Division 1 South West results. The game on Wednesday between Poole Town and Southampton Women was postponed. So on Thursday, Swindon Town 3, Maidenhead United 4, 7-goal thriller in that one. Goals to Maidenhead United is interesting because they've got 5 noted down on the FA full-time website. They have 2 goals for Kirsty Matthews, 1 for Simone O'Brien, 1 for Nicole Barrett and 1 for Natalie Barnes, which makes 5. Goals for Swindon, Ramborn Hallett, 25th minute. Helen Diaz-Butcher just 1 minute earlier, 24th. And Annabelle Colston in the 73rd minute, getting the goals for Swindon. And on the long answer to in the long sheet about the game between Swindon and Maidenhead, there's goal for Natalie Barnes, which matches Nicole Barrett, which matches 2 for Kirsty Matthews and 1 for Simone O'Brien. So there's a little bit of inconsistency between the score and the game sheet. But it has been given, it was 4-3 to Maidenhead. So just an issue with the game sheet there on the FA full-time website. Maidenhead United 0, Southampton 4 then. Good victory for Southampton women. 12th minute, Rachel Curry got a second in the 56th minute. 30th minute, Emily Wernham. And 49th minute, Sean Wiley made it 4-0 to Southampton. Cheltenham Town continue their good run of form. Tamsin Hayward, 57th minute, right after Holly Rogers in the 55th minute. So quick-fire brace put Cheltenham past Portishead. Swindon Town 3, Exeter 0. 2 goals for Megan Attenborough, 42nd, 46th minute. Anna Barnes, 71st minute, gave Swindon the 3 points. What that means for the table is it made it an awful lot harder for Exeter City, who were on a charge with all those games in hand, climbing up the table, and they've now dropped a couple of places after losing to Swindon. At the top then, 3 games to go for Cheltenham and for Bournemouth, and it's a 4-point gap that Cheltenham have. They play Southampton away, Exeter at home and Chesham at home. Bournemouth, they play Portishead away, Chesham at home, Exeter away. So they've got to play 2 of the 3 same teams for their running. It very much is advantage Cheltenham at the moment. Bournemouth maybe have just faltered at the last. Down near the bottom, Poole Town, their game in the week was postponed, so they live to fight for another week. They still need to win all of their games to stay up. They've got Swindon Town, they've got Exeter City at home. They've also got that Southampton women game that was postponed that they've then got to put in somewhere else. So they are at home for all of them. Exeter, Swindon and Southampton for Poole Town. Larkhall Athletic, they just need a point to realistically send Poole Town down. Again, because of the goal difference, they are playing not this weekend. They're playing next Wednesday against Exeter City. So it could be decided by next week, but we won't be able to cover that on next week's show because it will be recorded on the Tuesday. Right, let's have a look then. That's the league fixtures done. Let's have a look at the FA Cup quarter-final. Ipswich Town did everything they could, and it was a gallant performance for Ipswich Town, who only lost by a 1-0 to West Ham United. Great effort from them, great results, and they've done the FA Women's National League proud. Yes, they're out of the FA Cup at the quarter-final stage, but they've done the FA Women's National League proud. Now that all the FAWNL teams are out, I'm not going to cover the FA Cup anymore. The semi-finals are going to be on the BBC and things like that. So people can cover it a lot better than I can now that the FA Women's National League teams are out of the competition. Let's have a look then at the fixtures and what it might mean for the tables coming up this week. We'll start in the Northern Premier Division. Burnley against Stoke. Stoke only 1 point above the drop zone at the moment. Derby County against Nottingham Forest, the East Midlands derby on Sunday at Pride Park. Huddersfield Town against West Bromwich Albion, mid-table battle. Hull City against Fylde, that's 3rd against 13th. Hull City really could do with picking up the 3 points in that one. Middlesbrough against Loughborough Lightning is 10th versus 11th. Crucial game towards the bottom. Sheffield against Wolves, 12th against top of the table. Wolves looking to pull even further ahead. In fact, Forest could really do Wolves a favour by taking more points off Derby County in that game at Pride Park. Southern Premier Division then, we've got London Bees against Southampton tomorrow. Chichester and Chelsea against MK Dons, Gillingham Southampton, Hounslow Cardiff City, Ipswich Plymouth and Keynsham against Portsmouth. Because Cardiff City, if they were to beat Hounslow, could all but send Hounslow down. Towards the top, Ipswich looking to pull further ahead of Oxford. Oxford not playing this weekend. Southampton playing on Wednesday could close the gap even more. It's another one of their games in hand against the London Bees. So it's going to be an interesting week in the Southern Premier Division. In the Division 1 Midlands, Bideford United already down, of course, against Solihull Moors. Bournemouth St Michael's against Lincoln City. Bournemouth St Michael's could, if things go their way, win the title this weekend. Burton Albion against Sporting Cowserd. Crucial game down towards the bottom. Leaford Athletic against Leek Town. Leaford Athletic need to get themselves further away from the bottom three. Peterborough United against Doncaster Rovers Bells. A must-win game for Doncaster Rovers if they want to stay in the title race. Division 1 North game tonight. Bradford against Barnsley. So that's Barnsley's opportunity with their games in hand to try and pull themselves level on points. In fact, above FC United of Manchester with a win. Tomorrow, Stockport County against Leeds. That's two pretty mid-table teams. Leeds in 3rd, but it's a bit of a tall order for them to get up to the top 2 now. Barnsley against Liverpool Feds. Chester Street Town, Durham Sestra. Chorley against Alnwick Town. Newcastle United against Bradford City. And Norton Stockton Ancients against Leeds United. So important fixtures there is, of course, Newcastle against Bradford. You'd fancy them in that one. Liverpool Feds against Barnsley. You'd fancy them to win that one as well, though. So could all pretty much be the same at the top of Division 1 North. Towards the south, Chester Street Town against Durham Sestra. That's going to be a tough game for them to try and close that 6-point gap. Division 1 South East, just the 4 games. Stevenage against #United. Cambridge United against Billericay Town. Harlow Town against AFC Wimbledon. And Norwich City against Cambridge City. #United, their penultimate game of the year. Away at Stevenage. They need to win to put the pressure on Billericay Town, who are away at Cambridge United. Harlow Town against AFC Wimbledon. That's 12th against 3rd. And Norwich City against Cambridge City is 10th against 8th. So top 3 all away from home. You'd fancy them to win those games, but obviously nothing is certain. AFC Wimbledon with 6 games to go, 58 points. They could, if things go their way, drag themselves back into a title race. They're just coming at it from an awfully long way back. And finally, Division 1 Southwest, Cheshire United against Exeter City, Poole Town against Swindon Town, Portishead against AFC Bournemouth, and Southampton Women against Cheltenham Town. So Poole Town against Swindon. Poole Town have to win So that could be the one and only relegation spot decided this weekend. Portishead against AFC Bournemouth. Bournemouth must win that game and hope that Cheltenham slip up against Southampton women, who are in fourth. Southampton women with a lot of games in hand, but not enough to catch Cheltenham Town at the top, unless, of course, they win this weekend. If they were to win this weekend, they would close that gap to 12 points with 4 games in hand, and then they might feel as though they're right back into this as well. Cheshire United against Exeter City, third against 6th. Cheshire United, 2 games in hand. They could get to 32. You would feel that that's a bit too far back. They're currently 12 points back with 15 on the table. It's a bit far back for Cheshire, but Southampton women with 7 still to play could, if things go their way, get themselves towards that top spot. And that'll cover it for this week's women's football chat, focusing on the 3rd and 4th tiers. It's getting very exciting, so make sure you keep abreast of everybody's Twitter as well. Another note as well, this Sunday here in England, it's Mothering Sunday, so I'm sure you've all got things planned with family, and of course there are plenty of players throughout the FA Women's National League who are mothers themselves, who will be celebrating that day. Hopefully plenty of them will get a goal to celebrate as well. Thank you very much for watching this week's Women's Football Chat. Don't forget, if you want to get involved, it's on Twitter at Chris_Gadsby, or leave a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and as March starts to draw to its conclusion, there's only one more March show next week. It's all hotting up in the 6 divisions that we cover here on the Women's Football Chat. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.